Hey guys, it's Brian. It's been a while since we did a hunting video, so I happened to be up a little bit north of Buffalo to pick up my wife from the airport this week and stopped into a shop up in Lockport. It's called Grand Wine and Spirits. And went in. I had to grab a couple of bottles for our Whiskey Six friends, Myron and Bobby, and those are en route guys. But we chatted a little bit with Jay, who's the owner, talked about some of the picks that he's made, some of the picks he might have coming up. Really super cool guy. Obviously roamed around the store and took a look at their bourbon selection, got to taste a couple of their picks because they have a little tasting bar in the back. Really nice shop, and I'll give you guys a look. Check it out. Okay, so right when you walk in, they have some nice bottles mixed in with their picks. And so we've got Elijah Craig Toasted. There's an Ezra Brooks pick. They actually have an Ezra and a Rebel pick. There's a Russell Single Barrel. I believe the Russell Single Barrel was $69. And then, again, some other bottles mixed in. There's the McKenna 10. $67. That's about as good as you see it around here, price-wise. There's the Green River pick. Jay was the first one in the area to have a Green River pick. I know there's one other store who has one now, but it's a phenomenal pick, and I'm hand delivering a couple of those to our Whiskey Six friends. Yellowstone, I've got one from another store that's very good. There's the Rebel pick. That was actually picked by fellow YouTuber Brian Fisher and Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiasts. If you have not given them a subscribe, go ahead and do that. And then they have a Knob Creek pick as well. And I thought this was all of their picks. And I started heading back to the shelf, and then boom, there were some more. They had a Sazerac pick that I missed, $30. That's kind of standard. A 1792 foolproof pick, and also a High West pick. And this was a double rye finished in Oloroso sherry casks. So that one, $65. I don't think that's too bad. And I think those High West picks like this, these finished High West picks are going the way of the dodo. So I have heard if you see them, grab them. So then I headed over to the shelf. The shelf is huge. It's so high and so tall. It's like 5 or 6 rows high, and then they get to the overstock. So you'll see the bourbon section was so vast that I was not 100% sure where I had ended up after one pan. So you might see some repeats, but a lot of standard stuff, and I thought the prices were really good. And then they had some additional bottles that were real nice. They had a couple of Jeffersons that you don't always see. I'm not huge on Jeffersons. I did like that Tropics, though. I had it out at a local bar and thought it was great. But like the prices you see here, Western New York wise, I think these are pretty standard prices. This is usually what you would pay for things. If there's stuff that's a little more expensive, I'll point it out. That Widow Jane for $2.59, I have not seen that before, so I'm not even sure if that's a decent price. The Widow Jane 10 was a little high. It was $90. That usually goes for around $70 around here at least. There's some of the Kentucky Owl. And then towards the bottom, some other bottles. I kind of delved into the Japanese there. Some other bottles. That Iron Smoke is a local New York state. There's your Evan Williams stuff. I still haven't found that American Heroes edition. I would like to find that. They had some Frank August down there, but I didn't see a price on it. JD Barrel Proof. Now that's one where it's a pretty good price. I mean, $65 is on the lower end of what you find around here. Lots of Dickel. There's Russell's pick. I think I go back to it. I thought the Huber's Starlight was a little high for those, and I'm not a big fan. I'm kind of with Myron on those, that none of them have really been exceptional. It's just kind of blah to me. So Starlight probably is not something I'll keep on the shelf. There's the Russells. Oh, scooted right by it. See, it was almost overwhelming how tall and how stocked these shelves were. So I was kind of bouncing around, but lots of different Bardstown offerings. So, and a couple I hadn't seen except at the distillery. Here's the High West. I thought the High West cask strength was a little high. He had that for $99. Usually it's around 79 or even 69 around here. So that was one I thought was a little high. There's the Russells. Oh, it was actually $56.99. So that's like I think a really great price for a Russell's pick for sure. All your standard Old Forester. He had the entire whiskey row. The only other Green River he had was the wheated. And that one for me is a little too sweet. I do like the standard Green River though. I think it's a good bottle at 30 or 35 bucks. A couple of Blackens there, Burning Chair. Taconic is a New York State distillery. I've not had much from them. So I can't really say much about if that's a good buy or not. Those ones down there with those $5 tags on them, those are all Southern Tier. That's another local one about a half hour away from us down here in Western New York. Lots of Boones County. I don't really know much about the Boones County. I've heard a couple of people say that they're good. There's a B batch. We're still lousy with the B batch from last year around here. It's all over the place. So I think the word got out on that. People kind of figured, that was the lesser of the group and just didn't go for it because it's still sitting around in many places around here. Lots of different Heaven's Door. And I've heard a lot of people tell me that you got to go higher end with the Heaven's Door and they make some really good stuff. So I think we've probably decided we're going to do that. They have some Magnus, no cigar blend. That Old Elk Wheat and Rye is fire. It is so delicious. Really love that bottle. And they had the cigar cut for a few bucks less. The lowest I've seen it before this store was $129. They had it at $126.99. So a little bit cheaper than I'm used to seeing it. And then again, a Nulu. We don't get a lot of Nulu around here, but actually he was just, they were just in the middle of doing a Nulu tasting. And he actually said he was going to pass on it because they just were not real happy with the samples. So that's too bad, but this store, they do a lot of picks. They got a lot of picks in the hopper. And so I enjoyed talking to Jay. I enjoyed looking over selection. I enjoyed tasting some things that they have on the shelf. And it was a real cool place. There's Knob Creek 12, $50. It's $50 everywhere now. There's a few stores hanging on at 60 or 70 bucks, but most people have brought that down to 50. But yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of standard stuff. And then like some things like the Blue Run and a couple other things that we don't see a ton around here. But were kind of interesting ones to see sitting on the shelf. They did have the Holiday, and I actually peeked back a little bit. I think I came back to it. I was looking for Old Granddad 114 there, but then I saw these Boones County. I've never had them. If anybody can tell me about them, please do. And then I saw the Holiday Software Wheat, but I saw two tags, and then peeking way back there, you could see they have some of the 6-year bottled in bond. So again, nice selection. A little bit of everything for you. There were a couple more bottles here on this end cap, and that was pretty much it. And then I did head over he has like a room in the back, an allocated room. At the time, he was a little busy with customers, so I didn't ask to go in, but I just kind of did a quick pan. They have the sweet wheat and the 12-year. They had a Frank August bottle back there, a couple of Elijah Craig barrel proofs. Those are the ones I was curious about, like which batch those were, because they had the B batch on the shelf and then those ones in the back. So I'd be curious to go back and find out what exactly those were. But overall, really nice store, guys. Okay, so in the end, I didn't really grab anything for myself. I did grab a couple of these Green River picks for a couple of fellow YouTubers and fellow Whiskey Six members. And when I see Myron and Bobby in person, I'll make sure I put these right in your hands. It's a great store, really nice selection. I have been on kind of a buying binge lately, so I held off, but I think I'm definitely going to go back and grab that Rebel Cask Strength pick and the Ezra pick. That Rebel pick, I tried it there, and it was totally different than the Rebel pick I got in Kentucky, in a good way. It's unbelievable how different it was from the one I had. So Brian, you did a really nice job picking that one, and I'm definitely going to go grab one. Like I said, I was intrigued by the Azra pick. I always like a 1792 full proof. So there's probably a few bottles I'll go back and grab. But like I said, I'd take a little break from buying the bottles for a little bit. But a really great store. Really, Jay's a great guy. I really like what he's doing there with his picks. I think that every pick I've had from there has been a winner so far. So if you're in the Western New York area in Lockport, go check out Grand Wine and Spirits. And if you like this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for notifications. And we'll see you on the next episode of Bourbon School, guys. Cheers.